Breece Hall, does he stay or does he go in 2026?
Yeah, I think he'll be back, Ryan. I think you've seen his value, especially these last 4 or 5 weeks, whatever it's been. He's the best player on the team right now. I don't think there's any question he's the MVP of this team.
Hello and welcome to Gangzo here. My name is Ryan Sampson, the host of Producer's Show. That's our Jets beat writer Brian Costello, and that's my guy Frankie Vitoriti from U Stadium. Today is Friday, November 28th. Jets coming off a loss against the Ravens. We can call it tough for what it was. It was 23-10 loss to the Ravens. Fellas, we are officially in week 13 for the New York Jets at 2-9. We're going to talk about this matchup against the Atlanta Falcons. They're a 2.5-point dog this week. We're going to talk about Justin Fields' comments about being benched from the starting quarterback role for Tyrod Taylor. But before we get to any of that, I'll start with Coz. How was your Thanksgiving, sir? Are you good? Are you
It was
full?
good, Ron. Yep, all good.
Frankie, how about you, buddy?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Waking up today was a little rough, but hey, I'm good. I'm good. I'm feeling good, man.
Little
It's gonna
food
be a good
coma.
weekend.
That's how what kind of shape I
A
was in
little bit.
yesterday. Yeah, a lot of stuffing yesterday. Sure, I'll get a lot of comments about that. All right, fellas, let's start off with Gang Sounds Off, because I want to start with Justin Fields and Kaz. You guys were able to get him a couple days ago in the locker room for a brief moment, and I know his comments were not long, but he did say, quote, "I did not anticipate it whatsoever about the benching," and says he will be a starting quarterback in the NFL. He still wants to be a starting quarterback in the NFL. It doesn't say whether he wants to be back with the Jets next season when you asked him about that. It's going to be 1 week at a time. So I'll start off, guys, with your thoughts on Justin Fields' comments about, one, not anticipating that he's getting benched.
Yeah, I was a little surprised he said that. I don't know how he couldn't have anticipated it. He wasn't playing well. And, it's basically been a discussion now for over a month, whether he should be benched. So, yeah, I was a little surprised he went there and said he was surprised about it. The rest of the stuff I thought was pretty standard. Of course he still believes he's going to be a starter. Like, why, like he's not going to admit that if he doesn't believe it. And I'm sure he has no idea what's going to happen next year. So he's going to he's said he's taking it day by day, and he's not really thinking about that. And I'm guessing he's probably not focusing on next year right now. They'll get there in a month or so.
Well, he will take it one day at a time, and there is five more games after this week, right? Or four more
Yeah,
games? Five more games after this week. So
five after this one.
yeah.
Yeah,
So I mean,
six.
look, for him, and this is my follow up to you guys, is it going to be with the Jets next year? Like, I think I've asked you this a bunch, but like, even his comments seem to allude that he knows that this might be a one and done for him.
Yeah, I'm leaning towards no. He's not going to be here next year now, Ryan. And maybe things can change, but I just think he doesn't really fit the direction the Jets are going. I expect them to take a quarterback in the draft or to find another starting quarterback out in the market. And like I think I said this last week, I don't think Fields is the ideal number two. Because of his play style, I don't think he's the guy that you want necessarily mentoring your rookie quarterback. He just hasn't had a lot of success. So I don't know if that's like you're just, hey, yeah, like let's emulate Justin Fields. Like it just hasn't worked for him. So I think I think they'll probably move on and figure out the dead money, whether they do post June 1 to split it or just take all the $22 million hit next year. But I mean, we all focus on the cap, right? The toughest thing is they owe him $10 million in cash. So if you're Woody Johnson, you're
Damn.
sitting there like, oh my God, I'm paying this guy $10 million not to play for my team. That's a tough one to swallow. I gotta think that's gonna be hard. So as fans and media, I think we always get caught up in the cap, right? Because that what can they do? Dead money, all this stuff. The $10 million, that's real money, So that's the one. Maybe Woody says I'm not eating $10 million, but I got a feeling they're gonna have to look at it as a sunk cost.
Yeah, it's a tough pill to swallow too, and the fact that, again, I go back to the Jets, meaning Aaron Glenn and Darren Muji, chose to go with Justin Fields and give him this $40 million deal, and I don't think there were many other teams lining up to say, here's $40 million, Justin Fields, and you're also going to be a starter for us this year. There's going to be no competition for you whatsoever. It's your job to lose. And it doesn't look great. And the fact that they're going to have to eat more money again next year with Aaron Rodgers cap hit, it's not a great look. Frankie, I do want to touch on the other part of Justin Fields' comment about saying he does think he's a starter in this league. Do you think he's a starting quarterback or at that caliber of being a starting quarterback next year for another team?
No way. Ryan, he's on his third team in 5 years. He's been part of teams that really don't know what to do with him. He has such a, I guess, unique skill set in what he wants to do as a quarterback, but it's not something that offensive coordinators and teams really usually build around. Unless you're Lamar Jackson, it's tough to really build an offense around Justin Fields. And I don't think Justin Fields is even as good as Lamar Jackson. I don't even think he's close to as good as Lamar. And to be honest, I question how much he really loves playing football sometimes. I really do. I know he goes through some mental things. I'm not trying to crap on the kid, but this is a tough game. It's a tough position. It's probably the toughest position in sports. I don't even think he has the head for it at times. I really don't. And on the field, he struggles passing the football. We were 32nd, Ryan. How many times have you brought it up with him at the helm? We're having games we're throwing for 55 yards passing. Net, 30 yards net. Some games negative net yard passing. You can't survive in the NFL like that, man. And if you're not running the ball, if you don't want to read option or you're not read optioning or you're not scrambling like you were a bit you were doing a bunch of in Chicago, there's no place for you to start in this league right now. There's just not. I can't see a situation there. And I think sometimes he puts blame on the coaches or the situations, and he might be right. He might have a point there. Maybe he wasn't in the perfect situation like Lamar was with Baltimore that seemed to sort of fit. But a team's not going to redo everything and have a new OC there that's just going to run your style when the upside is not there with the kid. And it's unfortunate, but yeah, Ryan, answer your question. No, I don't think so.
Yeah, I think he'll have to obviously probably earn his reps like he did try to do with the Steelers. But Russ obviously came across with the injury in training camp last year, and that's how he was able to start the first 6 games for the Steelers. I do wonder, with this on his ledger, again, another offense that's being led by him where it was bottom of the league in passing yards, wasn't efficient enough. If teams are really going to be like, I don't know if I want to bring him in, because you did bring up a good point. Stylistically, it is one way to run your offense with Justin Fields. It's not conducive, in my opinion, to have him as your starting quarterback. So I do wonder if he ever is a starting quarterback in terms of you're the starter for us going forward this season. I don't think he's going to be in that position maybe the rest of his career. It feels like the NFL learns quick with these quarterbacks, and they're willing to flush it and go to the next one and see if we can find gold with the next quarterback. The other thing I want to touch on here, fellas, is that, yeah, the Jets are bottom of the league, 1,600 passing yards. It's 32nd in the NFL. Improvements, though, Coz, is what I feel like Glenn has been harping on. Improvements and also evaluation. And I know you wrote your Post Sports Plus piece earlier this week about players that'll keep, the Jets could keep or let go in free agency, but I want to start with the evaluation and the improvements. Frankie and I have had great discussions about, has this Jets team improved? Do you think this Jets team has improved over the last couple of weeks from what we saw the first month and a half of the season where they really struggled?
I do. I do think they've improved. I think they're losing normal games now. It's not crazy situations. It's not, just blowing games in the fourth quarter, like we saw some of that, or not playing for 3 quarters and then just playing the fourth quarter, like we saw some of that. So I think it's been kind of normal. I think Glenn's gotten better with his in-game decisions. I know the fourth down last week was not popular, and I didn't like it, but I didn't think that was an egregious mistake by him. I think you could have argued both ways. So I think his management has gotten better. I do think the defense looks much better. They just got to cut down on those third down penalties and find a way to get some takeaways. But they've been better against the run. This is another test this week for them with Bijan to see how their run defense plays. So yeah, I think there's been improvement. They've gotten Breece more involved, which I think was key. And really, like, they've been surviving without Garrett for a while now, which I think if we said early in the season, like, can they survive without Garrett? We probably would have said no. And they've been doing okay without Garrett. He didn't play against Cincinnati, and they won that game. And then he has, they played okay the last couple weeks without him.
Yeah, look, it's minor increments. It's improving. You could see, like you said, they're better against the run. I am interested to see if Tyrod can really get this passing game going even further. Frankie, what have you seen thus far that, perhaps we have been harsh on Glenn early on, and that this team has taken steps to be better overall?
Well, I think the defense is playing extremely hard, man. I think I think Sherwood's been playing better the last couple weeks with Quincy back too. It seems like they're getting to know each other's styles a bit better, and we've been stopping the run for the most part. And Kaz, remember I said it. I know you guys were laughing at me. I said, don't be surprised if this defense looks better post Quinnen and Sauce. I'm
Give
kidding.
it time,
I don't
Frankie.
think looked. Yeah. I agree. These guys are all, hot. It's hot right now. Because,
Quinnen's looked
it's
pretty
new.
damn good with the Cowboys. If I don't know if you guys
He
know
has.
that.
He's looked very good. Better than he looked here for most of the year.
I would agree.
But
All year long,
Well,
he
I
looked.
think that also speaks to style, right? Like
yeah,
the Quinnen is more comfortable in that style because they're running basically what style, like White Cotton is.
White
there,
Cotton's
who's
the defensive line coach. Yeah.
So they're just letting Quinnen go.
good point.
Just run up the field, and like I think that's some of what you see with the defensive line here. The guys who are holdovers have had a tough time adjusting to Wilk's system, where he doesn't just want them running up the field, and Quinn is comfortable there. He's back doing what he was doing here, and it's working for him.
Yeah, they're isolating him too in a lot of one-on-ones. You're starting to see. It doesn't seem like he's taking on as many double teams there.
Yeah, I mean, also the pass rush win rate, if you look at it, before he was traded to the Cowboys, his highest pass rush win rate of the season was week 1, where he had 15.4% pass rush win rate. Since then, he didn't even come close to over 10%. With the 3 games with the Cowboys, the first one being against the Raiders, he had 11.1%. He had 25% against the Eagles.
Jeez.
I mean,
Wow.
and he's over 15% again versus the Chiefs. He is absolutely dominating. And while he only has 1.5 sacks in 3 games, the pressures he's generating, 3, 4, and 4. So you're talking about 11 QB pressures in 3 games with the Cowboys.
Yeah,
That's good.
and he had Mahomes yesterday, and Mahomes got
He
away
did.
from him. I don't know if you see he got him by the ankle, and then Mahomes threw it downfield. Yeah, no. Look, I think he's completely rejuvenated.
Yep.
Too. He's gone to a situation where he's playing for something. Like this is basically the first time in Quinnen's career he's gonna. 2022, they played games that mattered in December, but other than that, he really hasn't had a playoff push to play in. So I'm sure he's been rejuvenated by the move.
Don't you feel a little weird about it? No, at least I feel a little bit weird about it, though, Frankie and Kaz. Is like, it's clear you weren't, like you said, you weren't motivated to play well here, but like the talent was always there. And Frankie and I were always frustrated where like you're in these close game or somewhat close games against the Buccaneers, against the Dolphins, and he doesn't do anything. He didn't do anything in those games. It's like you're getting paid a lot of money and you're paid to be our best player on defense, and you've disappeared. And I hear you, Kaz. It's a different style
I think
of
some of it's
defense.
coaching. Some of it's coaching, Ryan. I think that's the lesson here. Some of it's coaching.
So
It
doesn't
is.
Steve, does not Steve Wilkes and this defensive line and the defensive coaches deserve a little bit of heat and criticism? Like you took a star player on, and he was a star. He is a star player, Quinnen. Don't get fooled.
Yeah.
And he got worse this season to start.
Yes.
And like that's alarming a little bit, don't you think?
Yeah, I think if you want to talk about questions about the coaching staff, I'd start looking at the defense and say who's gotten better this year. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, Sherwood's somewhat.
The guys have been
Brandon,
here.
Brandon Stevens is the only one.
Sherwood's
I
not
can
playing better
think of.
Sherwood's not playing better this year.
No, he's
I'm,
not playing
I'm saying
better.
he's getting better
Yeah.
like through the
No,
season, but
I'm talking
he's
about
not since last year.
2020.
Yeah.
I was talking about 2024 to 2025. Who's gotten better? The guys that were here.
No one.
I don't have an answer
No
for
one.
you.
No one.
Yeah, so I think
Yeah.
that's kind of damning. So and that's not just Steve Wilks, that's position coaches. And I like when you talk to guys who are former head coaches. I talked to Bill Cowher the other day, did a piece because he's been kind of advising Aaron Glenn, and he mentioned it, and other coaches mentioned it, like just the coaching staff is like this underrated thing that you have to build as a head coach. And your first time head coach, like you think about it, you're doing all these interviews, right? Then you get hired, and it's a sprint to
Yeah.
build a coaching staff because there's usually six other guys that just got hired as well. There's movement already. There's some guys that are still playing in the playoffs. Like you have to build this coaching staff. You end up with guys you might not know, and I think that's tricky. So I'm curious to see like does Aaron Glenn does he make moves after this season? Does he make changes to his coaching staff, realizing some of these guys don't fit? I think that's an underrated element of the being a first time head coach is building the coaching staff.
I completely agree with you, Kaz. The Jets defensive line coach is Eric Washington. Assistant defensive line coach is Cameron Davis. So I don't know those guys really well, and I don't know their history, like what their resume is. But yeah, I just think it's really damning to see Quinnen be a star again with the Cowboys. Look, the Jets got an amazing return for in what they got back, but like you see the impact he can have. That Cowboys defense has completely flipped on its head, and they just played the two teams that were in the freaking Super Bowl in 4 days, and they beat both of them with good defensive performances. Think about that, guys.
In 3 years, the Jets are going to win that trade.
Yeah.
In 3 weeks, the Cowboys are going to win that trade.
Yep.
Right. So
I agree with that,
I kind of have to look at it is like the Cowboys. They got a boost to their defense, along with some other pieces that they got back and stuff. But he's definitely boosted their defense. But like, yeah, 3 years from now, when the Jets nail those picks, or one of those picks, then the Jets win the trade.
And Ryan, one thing too, sometimes things get stale, man. Like sometimes you just need a new
Yes.
place. You need new teammates. You need to look at a new jersey. That sometimes is a little bit of a motivating factor for you. Quinnen's been here for a long time, man. He has. He's been a part of a lot of
Yeah.
losing teams. Now he has been a
He
part
was
of
just
a lot of really
miserable.
good defenses. Yeah, it seemed
Yeah.
like it,
He was
right?
miserable. Yeah, he was miserable.
I
Yeah.
mean,
So like I think he's just I
Yeah,
saw
just
like an NFL Films video of him on the sideline from the Philly game.
yeah, I saw
And
it too.
he seems like he's happy again. Someone with the Jets
totally.
joked to me, or like, do you remember when like Quinnen was drafted? Like part of it was like the smile, and he had braces, and it was like this bubbly guy, and the Jets completely sucked the life out of him. Like by the end he was like brooding, and like
It's
he
terrible.
wouldn't answer questions, and like yeah, he was just so. I think he's back to being that smiley guy again.
Yeah, I mean, I'm frustrated at the player that he's playing better with the Cowboys but I guess I should be more frustrated at the franchise as always for sucking the life
Yeah.
out of him and making him frustrated and making him to the point where it's like I don't want to be here anymore, and that's a problem. And that's also on this coaching staff where it's like you kind of pushed this guy out here because you weren't. And this is part of I think coaching too, Kaz. You have to adjust your scheme to your players' strengths as well. Like I hate when coaches go in saying we got our scheme and we're just gonna find the pieces that fit our scheme. It's like if there's talented players on the field, you kind of have to coach around them to let them be that great. You don't want to take that greatness away from them. So that's where I get frustrated, and this Jets pass rush has been terrible all year. Terrible. Like not good. So they needed the pass rush help, and Quinnen was supposed to provide that, and he didn't. So I don't know. It's just, yeah, I'm glad we went through that. Now let's talk about the evaluation part of the players. Kaz, there are some key free agents here that are playing big roles on this team, and
Hmm.
their future with the franchise is up for question. And I think you brought some really good points, and we got to start off, obviously, with Breece Hall. And I just want to go player by player and why you think that player will be kept by the Jets or not. Breece Hall, does he stay or does he go in 2026?
Yeah, I think he'll be back, Ryan. I think you've seen his value, especially these last 4 or 5 weeks, whatever it's been. He's the best player on the team right now. I don't think there's any question he's the MVP of this team. So yeah, I think they got to find a way to keep him, whether that's a extension or whether that is using the tag. I think he's just proven to be too valuable to let him walk. And if you are going to bring in a rookie quarterback, you got to have a team around them. and Breece is going to help that. Breece is obviously a weapon, running the ball, catching the ball. So I think you got to keep him.
Okay, and what about Tyrod Taylor, the current starting quarterback for the New York
Yeah,
Jets?
he's interesting to me because, like we talked about, like would Fields be the guy to be the number two? Like Tyrod could be a good number two if you're if you're going to draft a quarterback. Tyrod would be a guy, would be a good mentor, and help a guy out. You might want to upgrade there. You might want to have someone who can actually challenge for the job more during the summer. But I think Tyrod's in the conversation at least.
Okay, and now you got a guy who's hurt this year and out for the entire season. Elijah Vera Tucker, who's missed
Yeah.
multiple seasons now, is due to be a free agent next year.
Yeah, he's interesting to me because you got to figure he's going to have to sign a prove it deal, right? He's going to have to sign a 1 year deal. No one's going to pay him with his injury history. Are the Jets that team? I think Titman's been good at guard. Simpson, I'm not sure about like what they do there. Like
Another free
he's sort
agent.
of yeah, he's in this decision too. He's a free agent. Josh Myers is a free agent at center, so like you kind of have to look at this all as a group decision. I almost think ABT and the Jets just need to move on. Like I think ABT might thrive somewhere else. I think the Jets kind of just might need to move on from him. I talked to him, Ryan, like a few weeks ago when he first came back in the locker room, and he said something about a change of scenery to me. Like you never know. I'm like you don't know if a change of scenery will do you good or whatever. So I think he's thinking about it. It just hasn't worked here. Like, and he's a good player, but it just hasn't worked with the injuries. So I wouldn't be shocked if they parted ways this winter.
Yeah, but that's where I get frustrated again, like with the Quinnen thing. Another good player, I don't want to see him play somewhere else and do well. Like, why not give him a 1 year prove it deal?
You could. I mean, you could do that if it's going to be does he want to stay here? And I think that becomes the question then.
Well, if they lose AVT and then who knows with John Simpson, do they bring him back? He's not had a great year in terms of constant production. It feels like he's had some bad penalties and he's also had some moments where he's not been good in the pass game. Do you think he ultimately comes back?
He's a tough one to figure. I don't think so. I think they'll probably move on. Again, this is a guy who the last regime brought in. Like you always have to remember that with these guys. Like this group has shown they're not attached to anyone who was here before they got here. So I have a feeling they'll probably go out and maybe look to find their version of John Simpson now. Find a cost-effective veteran that they can plug in at guard. Like, that was a good signing by Joe Douglas 2 years ago. He's done a good job for them. So, I think they'll probably look for their own version.
All right. Now let's go to the defensive side of the ball. Start with Quincy Williams.
Quincy, I think Quincy's gone. I don't know. The benching thing, right? That was weird.
Yeah.
Like there's that showed like this coaching staff or the front office or somebody doesn't really believe in him. They drafted Kiko, so do they give him a run? They paid Sherwood this year. I don't think you can pay two linebackers. Now, I don't know what Quincy's market will look like this offseason. But I don't know. I'm not sure how thrilled Quincy is here, and now he sees his brother, like we just talked about for a while, going to Dallas and getting new life. And remember, guys, there's coaches scattered around the league now that these guys played for with the last coaching staff.
Yep.
So does he want to go to San Francisco, play for Saleh? This team, the Falcons, this week, with Jeff Ulbrich and the linebackers coach Rudy, he was here. So I could see Quincy moving on.
All right. Now let's talk about his defensive line mate in Michael Clemens.
Oh boy, you want to handle this one, Ryan?
I mean, I think he's a goner. I wouldn't pay him. I wouldn't give him a single
Yeah.
dollar.
He's been playing a lot still, and I actually think he's playing better inside. They've been using him inside more, and that's more where he belongs.
Definitely.
So like, yeah, I get it, Ryan. I get it. He would not be, but like, I think the
It
coach
was fun watching him get blown up by a double team on the goal line for that second rushing touchdown. Really good there.
I think the coaches like him. I don't know. I wouldn't be shocked if he doesn't. If
they
he doesn't, like, I don't know.
You know
he doesn't
what?
have a market. I wouldn't be shocked.
Maybe the Jets defensive line's coaching these guys get blown up on double teams. That's great. Like, keep doing that. That's working out really well for us. All right, let's talk about the special teams. There's two players here that I really want you to touch on, in Quinnen WIlliams and Nick Folk.
Yeah. Yeah. Kane is fascinating, right? Because like that guy is such a weapon. Like you saw Baltimore did not kick to him once, right? And so he's such a weapon back there, but he can't stay healthy. He was dealing with another injury last week. He played, but he was, I think it was a game time kind of decision there. So I would try to bring him back because I just think he's such a good weapon in the return game. And then Nick Folk, you got to bring him back. He's been perfect. He's been
Yeah,
perfect as long as he wants to play. I bring him back. At some point, the wheels are going to fall off, but
Right.
they don't look like that's close right now. So I'm, and like we've seen teams that go, oh, we're going to take a young kicker. It blows up in their face a lot. So, and the Jets
totally.
kind of did that for a few years. So, like, yeah, I'm totally bringing Nick Folk back.
Yeah, I mean, look, I hope that he's still willing to come back next year. I think, like you said, though, you do have to be cautious with an older kicker if they do eventually like just lose it and aren't as accurate as Nick has been perfect this year.
Yeah.
So out of all those players, Frankie, are any one of those decisions that Kaz just highlighted standing out to you?
Uh, I think the Breece situation is going to be the most interesting because I think I'm with Kaz, gun to my head. I would say Breece is going to be back. But if Breece starts hearing murmurs out there about what his real market is and what he could be and who he is, etc., I think it may be that might be a tough negotiation for the Jets that they may not want to give him all the money that he may think he deserves. I really think Brees is going to come into this offseason and demand more money than the Jets are comfortable with. If I had to make a guess, I'm just guessing here, obviously.
Then couldn't they slap
I
the
don't
guy on
know.
him, Frankie?
They could, but I think that then running backs hate the tag, man. So, like his agency,
Tough.
his group, they're gonna. Yeah, I know. I agree. Tough love. Tag him, but they're not gonna
Yeah.
like that with his injury history. They're not gonna like that at all. So, in the Jets' best interest, tagging him makes the most sense. But I think Brees is gonna look for a 4 year, $45 million kind of deal.
The
fifty
Jets have a
million
ton of cap
dollars.
space to play with, Frankie. And this is the time where if you're going to draft a rookie quarterback, pay the guys that you think are premium position players and not premium position, but premium like talent and
Players
Brees.
here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
and you don't have many of those guys. And if you want to support your rookie quarterback, why not give him a star running back that can actually
Yeah.
take the ball and go to the house? You know what I mean?
And I
Yeah.
just go to what
No, I agree.
Aaron Glenn, couple things that Aaron Glenn has said. He's been in favor of paying players. Like he's been saying that since March. He's been in favor of keeping your good players. Like that's sort of what Detroit has done. That's what he wants to do here. Now they traded Sauce, but like they paid him. They did give him a contract first. So he's there, and then he has just been like effusive in his praise of Brees, and it hasn't been like coach speak. You know what I mean? Like he goes out of his way, whether it was the knocking down the trade rumors, or last week after he fumbled defending him. He is. I think he really really likes the player.
It makes sense. I
Yeah.
mean, go ahead, Frankie.
No, really quick. I'm looking at a deal, just a comp to Brees. I think Brees is going to come into the offseason and bring up James Cook, for example. 4 year, $48 million. And Brees is going to say, I'm better than James Cook. Are you kidding me? Like on paper, in a vacuum, I'm a better running back. I can do more than James Cook. Pay me what James Cook got, or a little more, or a little less. Are the Jets willing to go there? Kind of throwing that in there. Was kind of the comp that contract wise that I think he's going to go to. Look at James
Yeah,
Cook's
I think
deal.
he's.
Am I
I
not?
think he's $12 million. I think he's $12 million a year. I think
Yeah,
he's in that area. Yeah.
I mean, James Cook rushed for
yeah,
16 touchdowns last year, and he has another 8 this year.
he did.
Yeah.
Ryan, and then that's a
Better
discussion.
offense
Who's a
though.
better running back? Totally. Yeah,
He's in a better offense.
Yeah, I know.
yeah.
Well, I hope they keep him because they need playmakers like him, and he's damn good. And again, I would hate to see him go like Quinnen WIlliams to somewhere other team and just be an absolute stud. And it makes you frustrated this franchise continues to stumble on itself when they have good players and they just can't use them to the best of their abilities. That's a sign of bad coaching, in my opinion. And we've had a lot of that. A lot of that. Bad roster management. All right. And then finally, to wrap up this evaluation part of this discussion with Gang's all here, guys, There's a couple other players here, Kaz. Josh Myers, Jeremy Ruckert, Tony Adams. Are all these guys pretty much like goners, you think, and they'll look to upgrade them?
Yeah, I would think so. Unless they just don't have markets and want to come back and they can get them on the cheap. I think they're probably goners.
Yeah, that makes sense. All right, fellas, let's switch part of this show here a little bit. I want to go to the actual game itself here. Jets versus Falcons. Key matchups for both of you, and I'm interested to hear. I'll start with Frankie. What's your key matchup for Jets versus Falcons this weekend?
All right, guys. My key matchup, and this will tell me a lot about this Jets offensive line and how far they've come, but I think this week they're going to have a tough matchup with some of those young edge players up there in Atlanta with Jalen Walker and James Pierce Jr. are two players that have been playing really well the last couple weeks. They've been stacking up sacks the last 2 or 3 weeks there, both those young guys. I want to see the Jets offensive line. They're for real, we think, right? Those kids, let's see how you neutralize them. James Pierce had a sack and a half last game. Jalen Walker's had a bunch of sacks the last couple games. Those young kids are starting to get going now. Rookies starting to get their PHA, quote unquote. I want to see how the Jets offensive line deals with them. Olu Fashanu and Armand Membu are bookend tackles that everyone loves. I love. We're all excited about them. Let's see you give up at most half a sack against those two young kids. They also have some other players on that D line too. They have Leonard Floyd, one of our nemesis there in Atlanta, and with our ex coach over there, Jeff Ulbrich, gonna want to dial up a ton of blitz pressure up there. That sometimes leaves those edges either unblocked or in these compromising one-on-ones. It's going to put some stress on our tackles. So I want to see how well they play. That's my key matchup.
Not a bad one. Kaz, what's your key matchup?
I'll flip over to the other side. Bijan Robinson against this Jets defense, right? They've done a great job against the run recently. New England's a really good running team, and they shut them down. I get they scored touchdowns in the red zone, but really it was a passing game that killed them that night. And then last week, what they did against Lamar running and Derrick Henry running was impressive, and they held them to a really low total. Now Bijan's a different kind of guy than Derrick Henry. Like, he's more of a home run hitter. If they miss on him, he could be gone. So we're at the stage now where you talk about like evaluation stuff, Ryan. Like, what's real and what's just a blip on the radar? Like, can this run defense keep doing what they're doing against a really good running back in Bijan Robinson?
Yeah, it's a good one, Kaz. And I also think everyone's going to be paying attention to how Bijan effectively is used. He's a special back. And Sherwood, I think, is going to be the key. Him and Quincy, obviously, too, like trying to contain Bijan and making sure he doesn't break loose for those long ones. I think for me, fellas, this is where I'm going with, and I want to hear your thoughts on this. I'm going with Kyle Pitts versus the Jets defense. Kyle Pitts is a special athlete. Now, he has not lived up to his potential, but the reason I say that is because, do you guys know the Jets have given up the second most touchdowns to tight ends in the NFL this season with 7 touchdowns to opposing tight ends? And I just think that's something to pay attention to, because with Drake London out for the Falcons this week, Kyle Pitts ultimately becomes the number one target, I would say, over Darnell Mooney, because he's a big receiver and he's also super fast and athletic. So I'm interested to see how the Jets are able to, again, Sherwood and Quincy, can they cover the tight end? Do you put the safety on the tight end? Tony Adams has not been great in coverage. So I'm interested to see how the Jets cover up on Kyle Pitts. That's my key matchup to watch for.
Not to bring up anything trivia related.
What's that? Well, sorry, guys, go ahead.
They better not do what they did in 2021 when they had JFM covering him. In London,
I was about to say that.
Were you Frankie?
Was covering him.
Yes, I was about to bring up Kyle Pitts' history against the Jets right there.
Oh, all right.
Kyle Pitts has had our number a little bit, guys and gals.
It wouldn't shock me again this Sunday against Kirk Cousins, with Kirk Cousins going with him. All right, fellas. Time for trivia. Stump Coz. He got us last week. Coz was able to answer all my questions. So I only got one question for you this week, Coz.
All right.
Which Jets quarterback has the most passing yards in a single game versus the Atlanta Falcons?
Oh, that's an easy one, Rye. Easy one. That would be the legend, Brownie Nagel.
That is correct. Browning Nagel,
Wow.
366 yards, 2 touchdowns in
Yeah.
a loss, 20-17 to the Falcons, September 6th, 1992.
That's one of those. That's one of those to go back and read the stories. The Jets have found their quarterback. Like they went. Pretty sure they went undefeated in the preseason that year, and like that was back when the preseason when players played. So like everyone was convinced, Brownie Nagel is the dude. He's the guy, and yeah, he never came close to that game again. I'm pretty sure.
Sounds
His career numbers.
Sounds like Justin Fields week 1 against the Steelers.
Well, and then Gino had a great game against them his rookie year. And Gino, they beat them.
That's right.
I think that's the last time the Jets beat the Falcons.
That is correct.
It was a Monday Night Football game in Atlanta, and Gino played terrific. And that was where Jets found their guy. These are the lessons you learn is when you hang around the Jets. If a rookie quarterback has a good game, do not write that they found their guy. We need to see more than one game.
Yep, completely agree with you guys. All right, fellas, let's go to over-unders and picks. I was reading some of the comments on the pod last week. They want me to bring up how everyone did the week prior, but also tell them what you guys did right and wrong. So last week was a rough one for Mr. Costello, who went 2-4, and Frankie went 3-3. Now, if we do a breakdown on what the actual picks were, Lamar Jackson finished with under 207 passing yards. Coz had the over as well as Frankie. Tyrod with 189.5 pass yards. Coz had the under. Tyrod went over that. Frankie also had the under. He had the loss there too. Both you guys had Tyrod throwing for over half a touchdown pass, which he had at 1 last week. Breece Hall, 66.5 rush yards. Last week, Coz had the over. That was incorrect. Frankie had the under, which was correct. He only finished with 44 rushing yards. Derrick Henry, 87.5. Coz had the under, which was a win. And Frankie had the over, which was a loss. And then finally, Lamar Jackson, 34.5 rush yards. Coz had the over, which he had under that. And Frankie had the under, which was a win for him. So Frankie gets one on Coz. Coz is now 39-33. You're up 6 units on the season. And Frankie has
slipping.
Yeah, Frankie has made his way to 29-43. So you are 14 units down right now, Frankie. All right, fellas, let's start with this week, though. For Tyrod Taylor, they have him, according to FanDuel, 182.5 pass yards. Coz.
Man, I'm having a hard time figuring out this Falcons defense looking at it because I know they were really, really good. Early in the season, they were great.
Yep.
Then it looks like they've tailed off, and I obviously haven't watched a lot of Falcons football this season, so I'm going to have a tough time. What was the number again, Rye?
It was 182.5 pass yards for Mr. Tyrod Taylor.
I'm going to go over.
Okay. Frankie?
I'm going to go under.
Okay. Falcons have one of the better pass defenses in terms of yards giving up per game. Kirk Cousins, 190.5 pass yards. Coz.
190.5. Oh. Let Frankie go first on this one. I need to think.
You know what? I'm gonna go under. I'm gonna stay with this under theme for this game.
I think I know what Frankie's score is gonna be. Okay.
Yeah, I'm going under.
Coz.
I'm gonna go under as well. I just called up Cousins' numbers here. He went 199 last week.
Yep.
So
no Drake London.
Yeah.
Bijan Robinson.
No Drake London.
Bijan Robinson. I got 2 props for you guys. I'll start with receiving yards. 34.5. Coz.
Receiving yards. Oh, you're throwing us a curveball.
Yep.
34.5. I will go over on that.
All right, Frankie.
I'm gonna go under on that.
Ooh, interesting. Coz, how about Bijan Robinson's rush yards? This is a big number. 79.5 rush yards.
Under.
Coz believes that the Jets' run defense continues to get better and holds him in check. Frankie.
All right, I'm gonna go over, and I'll tell you why. I
that's a
think he's
smart.
gonna have a
That's smart.
bit. I think he's gonna have one really big run, something in the 45 to 50 yard range. But
Let's flip it to our friend that we just talked about, Breece Hall. Koz's friend, too, who he loves quote tweeting. 72 and a half rush yards. Koz.
72 and a half.
Yeah.
it's a big number.
Are the Falcons bad at run defense?
Let me look up the rush defense for the Falcons right now.
They're not great.
I mean, it must
That's
not
probably
be.
one
The Falcons give up
26th.
they give up the eighth most rushing yards this season.
Yeah. All right. I will go. I'm gonna go under on the rushing yards though. Right. If you give me yards from scrimmage, I go high, but under on the rushing yards.
Okay, Frankie.
I agree with Kaz there. I'll go under on the
right,
rushing
so
yards.
now
But I
let's-
think his over as total yards if we're going there yet.
So now let's go to his receiving yards for Breece Hall. 23 and a half receiving yards, Koz.
Over.
Okay. Frankie.
Right there, right over.
All right. Now let's finish up with John Mechie, who had a nice big week last week and is going to be this Jets starting slot receiver for the next 5 years, according to Jets fans. 35 and a half receiving yards, Koz.
Over.
Okay. Frankie.
Same over.
All right.
I actually like that prop a lot.
That's over-unders for this week against the Atlanta Falcons. Now it's time to pick this Week 13 game. The Jets are 2.5-point dogs. All of us picked the Ravens last week, so we got the W. Ryan was the closest with the score, 28-10. I was 23-10 last week. So I'll start off with myself since I was the closest, fellas. I feel very confident about this pick. I think it's a guarantee how this outcome is going to be. Hear me out. The New York Jets are going to win Sunday and get their third win of the season and win by a final score of 17-10 over the Atlanta Falcons. The defense holds Kirk Cousins in check. They hold Bijan Robinson in check. Kyle Pitts doesn't do what he normally does against this Jets defense. And Tyrod throws for 2 touchdowns in this game, one of them to Breece Hall. The Jets are going to win this game to ruin draft position, to ruin the tank, and make sure that they're on their way to be a middling team with only a top 8 pick. The New York Jets are going to win this game 17-10. I'll go to Frankie.
Wow. And you know what, Ryan?
I thought he said they were going to win another game this year, right? Didn't want to do that exercise?
Guys, this is the perfect week for the New York Jets to win a football game. Kirk Cousins in the elements, which he hates playing in a cold MetLife crappy turf stadium, and he's got no number 1 wide receiver, and the Jets have played better against the run. He's not going to have the run game support that he needs, and the Jets are going to win this football game 17-10. Mark it.
You know what, guys? Ryan, I completely agree with you. Guys, see, we're back on, baby. We didn't get blown out for a few weeks against good teams. We're back on.
Back on the bandwagon.
Back on the bandwagon.
You have not been
listen, I
eliminated from the
think
playoffs yet.
technically not. Yeah, only the Giants have been eliminated technically.
Do we have Joe Burrow making the return for us? Is that why we're going to make a run to the playoffs?
Ryan, I agree with you. I think there'll be a little bit more points on both sides there. So my score prediction is 21-17 Jets. Kirk Cousins and the Falcons struggle big time against man coverage. They are last in the league in completion percentage against man. They cannot move the ball effectively against man, and that was with Drake London. Now imagine without Drake London. The Jets love to play man, obviously. I don't like what I'm seeing with this Falcons team as a whole. I saw a couple clips, and I've been sort of deep diving in. Without Drake London there and Kirk Cousins playing outdoors on sort of his last legs, I don't really think they're going to be able to do anything explosive enough. I think Bijan will have a nice player too, but where else are they going to get yardage from? And the Jets defense has been playing hard. I think, say what you want about Aaron Glenn. I'm not yet sold on Aaron Glenn, but he's got those boys playing hard there, and I'll never doubt that because they're playing, they're running all over the field, sideline to sideline. I think the Jets figure out a way to win this football game. I think Breece Hall's one of the most talented players in football. And I do think with our offensive line, they're going to neutralize what Atlanta wants to do with their blitz pressures. They sort of put the foot off the gas last week, Jeff Ulbrich, against New Orleans, Atlanta. They weren't blitzing as much. I think they're going to come in and blitz a ton, but I trust our offensive line, and I trust Tanner Engstrand and Tyrod Taylor, who had the 5th highest QBR last week. Tyrod Taylor, no one talks about that in football. I'm picking the Jets, baby, 21-17.
Kaz, wrap it up, baby.
I'm going to make this brief.
Kaz is bringing us back to reality.
Steve Wilkes is about to come to the podium. No, I'm with you. 3 for 3. Jets win this game.
Ooh,
20-10.
Let's go.
They've been playing better. They get a team in their weight class. You know, they played teams that were better than them the last 2 weeks and hung in. But now they get a team in their weight class. 20-10.
20-10. 2-0-10, right?
Yep, 2-0-10.
That's three guys here picking the Jets, which means Jets fans put all your money on the Jets this week.
Bet your mortgage on the Falcons.
Falcons this week.
Fellas, that's an episode. We'll catch you next week. Thanks all.